Bang Si Hyuk has finally spoken. But what is it really hiding? Why did Jungkook actually quit BTS? Why didn't Taeil give a single word when all this was revealed? Is this the end of everything that has been built for more than a decade? Why did the army choose to remain silent? Why did Jungkook choose to leave when everything was still going so beautifully? Why is it that when the world looks up to BTS as a symbol of strength and togetherness, Jungkook steps back in silence? And why did Bang Si Hyuk's official statement leave more questions than answers? This statement did not come in a press release, nor in the form of a fancy conference full of camera highlights. There is no stage. There is no mic. Only the room is silent, and the gaze of the eyes is more honest than words. Bang Si Hyuk finally opened his voice. However, that doesn't sound like clarification, rather a kind of belated confession. And that's where this storm started. He did not name names directly, but when he said, "There's someone who's too tired to keep pretending to be happy," ARMY knew who he meant. All this time we were just guessing, but now it's all starting to connect. Jungkook's blank stare at the last concert, his absence in several interviews, his unwillingness to talk for too long in front of the camera, none of that was a coincidence. It was a signal, a silent cry that we all ignore. But why? What's really going on behind the scenes? Is the pressure too great? Is the dream that used to be built together already starting to feel like a burden? Or is there something or someone that makes Jungkook feel like he's no longer part of the home he once loved? In a sentence that sounded like broken glass, Bang Si Hyuk said, "There's a decision I can't fight. Even as a founder, I have no power over anyone's heart." The sentence sounds simple, but the implications are staggering. Does this mean Jungkook came out without HYB's blessing? Was his departure a unilateral decision? And if so, why did HYB stay silent for so long? But there is something more disturbing. When Bang Si Hyuk's statement began to spread, the first reaction that the members were waiting for did not come. R.I.P. to the poetry slam. Jim looks away from the camera. Jean, who usually mediates, prefers to talk about the weather and movies. But of all, the most surprising one, Taeil didn't say anything. Shut up. There is no like, no story, no captions, no gestures. There's nothing. Why is Taeil silent? Does he know more than the others? Or is he struggling with his feelings? There is speculation that something happened between Jungkook and Taeil before this decision was made. An emotional conversation, a conflict that was never disclosed to the public. But even this speculation has not been able to answer the sense of emptiness that is now felt by millions of armies around the world. What exactly was sacrificed to reach the top? Is this the price of a dream too big? Bang Si Hyuk, with teary eyes, only added one last sentence before closing the interview. If you knew the whole truth, you would probably stop blaming anyone. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. What does that mean? Has anything been hidden all this time? Did Jungkook leave because of guilt? Or for feeling betrayed? Some army mentioned about the inhumane training schedule. Others talk about pressure from international labels. Some even say that Jungkook feels like he has lost his identity because he continues to be forced to be something he is not. But of all those theories, there's one common thread that's heartbreaking. Jungkook didn't leave because he hated BTS. He left because he loved them too deep. Then why does this departure feel like a silenced wound? When a member of a group as big as BTS chooses to step down without a farewell concert, without a fan letter, without a personal message, it's not just resignation. It was a signal, a call, a scream from the deepest chambers of the human heart that is no longer strong to endure. And when we look back, we realize that all of this didn't just happen. Remember when Jungkook suddenly burst into tears when he received a letter from a fan in Japan? As he said, "I just want to be myself," and laughed bitterly as if it were impossible? Did he already know he was going to leave? Remember when Taeil whispered to Jungkook in a live broadcast and his voice was accidentally caught? Don't worry about them. Do what your heart says. We used to think it was a joke. But now? That sounds like a goodbye. Why didn't we see the signs sooner? Why are we so busy hoping they'll stay together, but forgetting to ask if they're still happy? Bang Si Hyuk never revealed when Jungkook made that decision. But he mentioned one particular night. The night after the concert in Busan. A night where there are no schedules, no cameras, just a dark rehearsal room and the sound of an acoustic guitar. That's where, he said, Jungkook made his decision. Not with words, but with silence. And from that silence, everything changed. Does this mean BTS will never return in full formation? Is this the beginning of the end, or just the end of a chapter? ARMY is waiting. The world is waiting. But in the midst of all the questions, what hurts the most is the silence between those who used to be together. Because leaving is not about a body that no longer stands on stage, but about the heart slowly moving away. We don't know everything yet. You may never even know completely. But one thing is certain. Jungkook's departure is not just news. This is a collective wound. Wounds that have no expiration date. And as Bang Si Hyuk said, this is not the end of BTS. But this may be the end of the dreams you know. A new chapter begins. Now everything depends on them. Taehyung chose to remain silent. T.O. Jimin, who kept trying to smile. A.T.R.M. who still writes poetry quietly. A.T. the genie, who tries to make us laugh even though his eyes are tired. And on Jungkook, who may still be listening from a distance. What exactly happened? And are we ready to accept the answer? That night, the wind in Seoul blew slowly. The streets around Gangnam feel quieter than usual, as if the city was silent along with the reality that many people could not understand. Some soldiers lit candles in front of the HYB building in solidarity. Not because I want to protest, but because they do not know what to do. When someone you love chooses to leave without saying goodbye, what can you do but wait in silence? Meanwhile, rumors began to spread like wildfire. Some say that Jungkook is preparing a solo project on a global scale, not under the auspices of HYB. There were also leaks that he would be settling outside Korea for a while, away from the hustle and bustle of the media and public expectations. Is it really all about career? Or is there a personal side that the world has not been able to accept? Bang Si Hyuk didn't answer many questions after that interview session. But one of the staffers, who did not want to be named, said Jungkook experienced several stressful months before his decision. Not only because of the busy schedule, but because of the conflict that he said was not worth sharing with the public. Conflicts involving personal matters, relationships between members, and pressure from management that he called no longer healthy. Could this have something to do with old rumors about vision differences between Taehyung and Jungkook? ARMY still remembers the old video of the two of them that went viral because of a small debate in Live. At that time, everyone thought it was funny. Two friends who had different opinions about music. But now, the video feels like a cracked mirror reflecting something much deeper, the tension that had been hidden behind the laughter. And Taehyung, keep your mouth shut. Why? Is it because he was injured? Or is it because he knows that a single word from him can change public opinion, confuse the atmosphere, or even deepen a wound? Jimin, who is known to be the most sensitive and soulful among them, was seen leaving the HYB building a few hours after Bang Si Hyuk's interview. The camera captured her in a gray hoodie, without makeup, and a rash step. His eyes are puffy. Did he just cry? No one knows for sure. But the soldiers who watched the photo concluded one thing. It's not just about work. This is heartbreak. One of the biggest fan bases tweeted, "We don't need an official clarification. We knew something was broken between them. And we just hope it doesn't get destroyed even more." But of all the hurt, one thing was most surprising. Jungkook hadn't said a word directly. There is no farewell video. No Instagram uploads. No digital mail. There was not even a live session that he usually did when he wanted to calm the ARMY. His departure? Silence. It's like walking out of a dark room without closing the door. And that silence is now the loudest voiced ARMY split. Some try to accept. Some are angry. Others continue to hope this is all just part of the surprise comeback scenario. But what if it's not a drama? What if this isn't a plot twist? What if this reality? Bang Si Hyuk said, BTS was built not just with songs. but with tears, sacrifices, and love that can't always be explained. This sentence sounds like a quote from a farewell letter. The ARMY knows it's not something that will be finished with just a new song or a reunion concert. There are wounds that take time. There is a distance that cannot be forced to be brought closer. And there is love, who sometimes chooses silence as his last form of protection. One thing that makes a lot of people even more curious is the closed-door meeting between Bang Si Hyuk and the BTS members a week before this announcement. No photos, no news. But one of the studio assistants recorded the sound of the piano that RM played that night. A few days after Bang Si Hyuk's shocking confession went public, the mood of BTS fandom around the world turned into a wave of overwhelming emotion. There is no longer just a discussion about songs or concerts. No more light speculation about a comeback. There is only one great anxiety that pierces the heart. Is this the end of everything? And in the midst of that anxiety, one figure remains the most enigmatic: Taeil. During this time, he was known as a warm but mysterious person, close but difficult to read. He can laugh merrily in concert, then suddenly stare blankly behind the camera. But this time, the silence was so piercing. Even as everyone waited for one word from his mouth, only one, he chose silence. Silence makes all the noise. What is he hiding? What does he know about Jungkook's decision? Was there a role he played in this big decision? One of the big fanbase fans had made a summary of Taeil's uploads over the past 2 months. No interaction with Jungkook. No likes. No comment. There are no joint photos. No laughter they used to share. All erased, as if time rewind to the time before they knew each other. But why? Is this intentional? Then a short video from 2 months ago resurfaced. A snapshot of the closed-door practice session when Jungkook is seen exiting the studio early. Taeil follows, calling her name, and the camera captures a flash of expression on their faces. Flat. Without hugs. Without touch. Not like two friends. Not like family. But like strangers who have too many wounds. Some ARMY observers noticed that in one of the studio's videos, Jungkook spoke to the producer and said, "Maybe my time here is almost over." But because of the laughter afterwards, many thought it was just a joke. Now, that sentence feels like a signal that everyone is ignoring. A departure gesture that was never taken seriously. And maybe that's what hurts the most. On the other hand, Jin, who is known as the figure of the eldest brother and protector, secretly shows a change in attitude. He had greeted the ARMY through the community platform, writing a simple sentence: "Some things are too painful to talk about, but I'm sure time will shape a new path for everything." Suddenly, the sentence became trending. Not a few interpret it as a form of recognition that conflicts do occur. A conflict that cannot be resolved in one night. Conflicts that may involve personal matters that are too complicated to explain to the world. ARMY began redigging all of BTS's interactions over the past 2 years. From live broadcast schedules, travel vlogs, to behind-the-scene videos. All dredged back, searched for hidden clues, like a detective investigating a case that leaves one victim. Happiness. Several theories have emerged. Some believe that Jungkook feels trapped by the system and expectations are too great. That he wanted to try to be himself, without labels, without the burden of BTS's big names. Others believe that personal conflicts behind the scenes, especially with 1 or 2 members, make them feel uncomfortable. Some even believe that this decision was not just about the music, but about the direction of life he wanted to take. A direction that was no longer in line with HYB's vision. And the most surprising? Someone from HYB's inner circle admitted that there was a moment when Bang Si Hyuk asked Jungkook to reconsider his decision. But Jungkook refused. Quietly. Without anger. Without tears. With just one sentence. "I've given everything. Now I just want to be honest with myself." Is it selfish? Or is it the highest form of love? A love that realizes that enduring will only hurt deeper. Meanwhile, several ARMYs began uploading edited videos of Jungkook's career journey, from the shy little boy HYB recruited in her teens, to becoming a global center with a golden voice. Each video is accompanied by a heartwarming caption